I sat on my bed in the dark, just listening to him breathe. I hated him so much, but I hated myself even more. We'd only chatted online for 20 minutes before he offered to pay me for a massage. Why was I so naive? Why didn't I realize that a massage wasn't just a massage? Did I really need the $200 that badly? Yes, I did. I'd never massaged anyone in this way before. I didn't understand why he wanted the lights out. He made me turn up my music, worried my roommates might overhear. I'd borrow my roommate's lavender hemp lotion, and the floral aroma relaxed me a bit as I started to gently massage his shoulders. Everything seemed normal until he slid his hand under my thigh as I sat on his right side. I tensed up. He made a flippant comment about how I was going to earn my money and laughed. The sound creeped me out. But I needed the $200, so I didn't push his hand away. I just kept going. He kept shifting uncomfortably, or maybe he was dry humping the mattress. I can't be sure. After 15 or 20 minutes, he said he'd tip me if I let him give me a massage. That seemed sweet. I wouldn't have to touch him anymore, and I'd get a massage. My young, naive self thought it was a good deal. He immediately straddled me, and within seconds I felt his erection pressing against my lower back. My skin crawled. It felt like I was on an episode of Fear Factor. I didn't know how to process what was happening. I'd been so excited to make $200 in one night that I hadn't thought about the fine print. I wasn't a covert prostitute, or so I'd thought. I'd believed he wanted an actual massage. I hadn't realized he was a John. As his erection slid lower, my discomfort grew. I started to protest. That's when he pressed my face hard into the pillow and slapped the back of my head. I was stunned, flabbergasted, ashamed, in shock. I didn't know what to do. I started to struggle, but he was stronger. I screamed, but my music was too loud for anyone to hear. I tried to fight back that night, but he won. He had his way with me. The back of my neck was red for 2 weeks from how hard he'd held me down while he took what he wanted. When it was over, I got up quickly and sat on the side of the bed, just listening to him breathe as a Mia song played in the background. I'd never felt such overwhelming shame before. He dressed hastily in the dark, seemingly surprised by what had just transpired. He handed me the $200 he'd promised, along with a pathetic $20 tip for robbing me of my dignity. Then he left as fast as he could. I took a shower, blaming myself for allowing him into my home. I told myself I deserved it for being so stupid. Afterward, I dressed and walked into the living room, trying to wrap myself in the normalcy of familiar surroundings. It took me years to give that night a name. I was raped. I didn't think I was at the time because I hadn't fought for my life. I thought rape only happened in movies, or to women. But that night took more from me than I could comprehend. I'd already lost some of my pride years earlier when I'd engaged in sex work to pay for my mom's medication. But this took more than pride. It took my drive. It skewed my outlook on life. For so long, I felt worthless. I wish I could say it was the only time I was assaulted by a man without decency, or that it was the most violent encounter. But I'd be lying. This was just the first. I fell into sex work because I felt like it was all I was good for. The life was dangerous, and I often feel lucky to have survived it. Unlike the empowered sex workers I'd seen on TV, I didn't own my sex work. It owned me. I became confined to that life. I accepted that I was just a body for others' pleasure, that this was my destiny. The fates had designated me a whore, whether I wanted to be or not. I tried to get out. Once I even called an organization designed to help sex workers leave the industry. But because I was a cis man, there was nothing they could do for me. There were no resources for people like me. I felt invisible. Not even a non-profit meant to help people like me would take me in. My friends started noticing changes in me after every assault. At first, it was my obsession with taking pictures whenever we hung out. They thought it was annoying, but what they didn't know was that I clung to those photos. I needed to remind myself who I was before every client. As time went on, my anger grew. I'd explode over the smallest things, screaming at my friends in public. Life was wearing me down, and my only outlet was the people who loved me. The road out began the night I gathered my friends and opened up to them. I'm grateful they didn't judge me. They didn't know everything, not about the assaults, not about the full extent of my work, but they knew enough to see I needed help. We all cried, and that night, the healing began. I left sex work after 7 years of feeling used and worthless, but it took 7 years of being out of it to truly feel free. Now, here I am, thriving emotionally, confidently asserting my place in the world, leading with kindness and love. I have every reason to be bitter and hateful, but I'm not. I've won this battle. Every experience, every scar has shaped me into who I am. I am no victim. I am a motherfucking survivor. And I didn't need a superhero to save me. And for the first time in my life, I can confidently and honestly say I am proud of myself and every patch and stitch that has made me who I am.